Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Unbettable. As you can see, it is just Holmes and I right now, and that is because when I look over at my monitor, I see Gary queuing up in a Call of Duty game. So, as you can tell, he's late to the podcast, so we decided why not start without him. After all, his analysis is suspect at best most days, but again, so is ours. So, Holmes, how you doing? How's your weekend? What's been going on?
Not bad, dude. Not bad. Another tough week for college football. It's just getting harder and harder to bet the deeper we get into the
Yeah.
season. So we're really just looking for any edge we can right now. But great bounce back day for the NFL. Me and you both. Me and you
Mhm.
both had some nice NFL plays. I know that anytime TDs for you are still in a rough spot, but that's okay, man. We
Yeah.
our NFL plays. We had a good weekend, so I felt good about bouncing back on that.
Yeah, we'll hit on it, but if Stefan Diggs hits tonight, that's 50% on the anytime, which is a solid rebound, I'd say.
Yeah,
Not where I want to be, but it is what it is.
yeah.
Um, so I kind of wanted to start off triple threat takeaways real quick. And I wanted to personally bring out my favorite triple threat takeaway, which is this is how I will be doing betting from now on. Let me show you.
Is that that?
Can you see this?
Oh shit.
Yeah, dude, I saw that.
A
That's legit as
QB
fuck.
sleeve for parlays.
Is
That's
that that?
legit.
That is genius.
Yeah, it is.
Absolutely genius. And it is the way I will do these bets from now on. If I have that big of a card, and especially during March Madness, I'm going to be sitting at work flipping up the QB sleeve.
Yeah,
Like
that's
that's
legit as
that's amazing. I
fuck.
can't believe that's a thing. So that was my first takeaway. It's we got some ingenuity in the betting space now that it's back in FL. So
Yeah,
I'm a little
dude.
happy.
I love it. I fucking love it. All right, I'm gonna just stick in college football because there's so much shit that happened this weekend. My first takeaway is gonna be a couple teams that we have found to be fraudulent. They are the fraud alerts. Number one, you won this bet, Penn State. Michigan proved they are the real deal, man. JJ McCarthy passed 8 times in this game. 8 times. He was 7 for 8 for 60 yards. They rushed so much during this game. It was incredible because Penn State literally had the number one rush defense in the country coming into
Yeah.
this game. So good for you. Good job winning that bet against me. I thought I could get Penn State to cover right there, but yeah, Penn State looks like a fraudulent team because the two biggest boys on their schedule, they could not hang Ohio State or Michigan. That game was not even as close as it looked on the scoreboard. And the second fraudulent alert was Tennessee. And we knew this because Missouri coming into this game, we were all over Missouri. They've looked way too good in the SEC for them to be plus money at home against a Tennessee team that has really been the epitome of up and down this season. They're not worthy of that 13 ranking. They should not be even remotely close ahead of Missouri in the college football playoff rankings. Tennessee is not that team. Missouri had a great game. They absolutely stifled Tennessee, held them only 7 points, and put up the great offensive display that they've been doing all season long. So,
Mhm.
shout out to Missouri and Michigan, Penn State, and Tennessee. You are fraudulent.
Yeah, as far as that Michigan bet, I mean, it was going to go one way or the other. Either they were going to blow them out or they were going to get blown out. There was no real in between. So any sort of spread was kind of ridiculous and redundant there. But Gary, what's your first takeaway?
First takeaway is I feel like shit right now.
Yeah, me too.
Um, but yeah, fuck man, what a blur of a weekend, bro. I didn't watch any sports if I'm gonna keep it a buck. Um, I guess my first takeaway, is Billy Napier is kind of shit in the bed. You know, Florida, let's put it this way, not Florida's main focus this year, but Billy Napier's main focus this year was getting all these great recruits in hopes that, this is kind of a building year for us. And, we're kind of finding the chemistry between all these new people that we're pulling onto the ship. But now people are starting to flip because they're looking at the way we're performing, and it's just not up to how they want to perform throughout their 4 years in college. I don't know if you guys saw, but that 4-star cornerback. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Ended up flipping to Texas. And that's just a tough look for the program. And there's also talks that Lagway is going to flip. And if that happens, I really think Florida is fucked. So Gators still suck. We need to figure something out fast.
Yeah, that's not the worst takeaway I've heard. I mean, is it all on Billy? No. I think if he can hire a little bit more help in the coaching staff, he'll be a lot more set up for success. Um, but that's not the worst thing I've heard. Florida is definitely underperforming compared to what we think that they should be. But when I and kind of in tangent with you, my next takeaway is it's the time of the hot seat. We got coaches getting fired.
Mm,
Here we are. We've made it to this point in the year. I'm actually just going to talk college football. So Mississippi State, A&M, they played each other. Both coaches get the boot. Jimbo's out. He was making $70 million. See ya.
crazy.
Arnett, he's gone. He can't replace Mike Leach. Nobody can. So is the hot seat for coaches. Keep your head up. Keep looking around because you never know if you're going to be next. You are officially under Unbettable watch, and we officially have odds for you. So pay attention, don't lose, and you won't be on our board. Holmes, what's your
Fair.
second takeaway?
Second takeaway is Alabama is a motherfucking wagon, dude. Holy shit. They put the absolute work on Kentucky this weekend. I mean, that game felt like it was over after the first quarter. They got out to such a hot start. Jalen Milrow, I think, accounted for 6 touchdowns, 3 passing, 3 rushing. That guy had himself a day. Alabama is just like Alabama and Georgia just look like one and the same team right now because as much as they look like they kind of struggled a little bit earlier in the season, and even though Georgia doesn't have a loss, they had some close games. They had some games they probably shouldn't have been as close as they should have been with their talent level, but they're both starting to turn it on at the right time. They're playing very, very good football right now, and this is literally the time where they have to. Alabama and Georgia clinched another SEC championship title game. So that is going to be really, really exciting to watch because the winner of that is likely getting into the playoff. And it's going to be very interesting if Georgia loses and their one loss, do they get into the playoff as well? That'll have to be the question.
Yeah, Gare?
Yeah, my second takeaway is Belichick. It's time to pack your bags and go on home. I don't know if you guys saw. Well, I don't think anybody saw it because nobody was waking up for this game. But the Colts Pats game ended with a score of 10-6. I remember in the last pod, I thought this was going to be a shootout game just because it's in Frankfurt. You know, you want to put on the show for, the international fans, give them something to look forward to. But this game was just abysmal. I know Zap was playing over Mac, which was interesting. And at the very end of the game, he ends up throwing a pick and it's over for a final score of 10-6. And it was pretty evident that Belichick was frustrated. And I just really think that this is tarnishing, kind of his legacy. I feel like, when he gets his 30 for 30 kind of, documentary, because of course that'll come eventually. They're not going to talk too much about his final years, but I think if they keep playing the way they are, it might become a hot topic of discussion. So I think it's time for him to get it going.
Yeah, I think we'll definitely hit on that game because that final drive was very interesting with the way it was coached and the way it was played out. So I think we'll definitely hit that in the NFL recap. Gary, I know you were on the road all day, so you didn't see it. But that's okay. I'm with you as a Dolphins fan. Seeing Belichick go would be kind of nice, but it is what it is. Um, my third and final takeaway is drinking gets so much harder the older you get. I have officially secured my first ever 2-day hangover, and it is
Wow.
now turning into me actually getting sick. My 24th birthday was on Sunday. We had a lot of fun this weekend. I was hungover all Sunday. and then most of today, and now I have a sore throat and I'm like stuffed up and I feel like shit. So drinking gets harder. Gary, enjoy yourself while you can. It gets fucking miserable once you grow up. That's my final takeaway. Holmes.
Man, third and final takeaway. Shout out to UCF for making my ass look like a fucking idiot. Like, man, Oklahoma State -2.5 might have been the worst bet of the weekend because holy shit, from the minute Oklahoma State had that first turnover in the first quarter and UCF bang scores right off the bat, I knew that was we were going to be in fucking trouble with that one. Oklahoma State looked like pure shit. And honestly, looking back on it now, it was probably a trap spot that we should have recognized. I can't believe that happened with how well Oklahoma State has been playing for the past 4 or 5 weeks. Gordon, their running back, has been immaculate, helping lead that offense. And then you come into Orlando with a struggling UCF team so far this season. Not very many wins in the Big 12 to show for it. Got their first one against Cincinnati last week, and they just pummeled the shit out of Oklahoma State. So hats off to the Golden Knights for making me look like an absolute fucking fool this weekend.
Yep, me too, man. Me too.
Yeah.
Gare?
It's funny because you talked about drinking, so now I'm gonna talk about drinking as well. My final takeaway is New Orleans is not a real city, bro. It is not real. If
Yeah.
you go on Bourbon Street, bro, and I think I lost a part of my soul there, bro, because I didn't drink all day yesterday. And like Mondo said, the 2-day hangover is officially here. And I think it's just because everything there is just full of like pure sugar. So my body is just like feels like I don't know, like a submarine, like ready to like implode upon itself. But it was a great time. Fuck LSU fans. LSU fans are actually some of the most toxic people I've ever met. And that's kind of because I was being toxic. I got a little intoxicated on Bourbon Street, and I was telling LSU fans how I felt about them. It ended up with an old man yelling in my face. And yeah, it was just New Orleans. I'm never gonna see you again, at least not for a long time. So,
It's
my
all
final.
right, Gary. It happens to the best of us. We definitely have some stories out there on Bourbon Street that can never see the light of day, at least until we're retired. So
Yeah.
it's a hell of a place. If you haven't been, you should go at least once, but you may never want to go again. So
Make
I've
sure
been
you
twice
go-
and I would go tomorrow if I could.
yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Holmes, you want to take us through the biggest games of the weekend for college football?
Yeah, for sure. Let's touch on some of the ones that I didn't hit on, and then we'll run into our cards for the weekend. So looking back on it, we touched on the Michigan Penn State game. We touched on the Alabama Kentucky game. We touched on Florida losing a shootout to LSU and giving up 600 total yards, 600 plus total yards to Jaden Daniels. Colorado takes another L. Arizona, what a story in the Pac-12 this year. Arizona came out of nowhere. They're now 7-3. They were ranked 21st last week. They're definitely going to shoot up in the rankings this week coming into Colorado and beating a decently talented Colorado team, but they are on a skid. Colorado is definitely not making a bowl game this season, but Arizona looking to make some noise this season in the Pac-12, which is really awesome to see. They have been rebuilding forever. Florida State, they just barely escaped with a 7-point win at home against Miami. It is a rivalry game, so I think the game being close was expected. I think, Gary, you had Miami covering that, so you were right on that game. It's just really weird to see Florida State play a lot of these really close games with it. As talented as they are, you're really expecting them to blow the shit out of some of these inferior teams, especially Miami, which has lost some bad games this year. Looked nowhere near as talented as Florida State in terms of both sides of the ball, offense and defense. But you could definitely tell Keon Coleman, he's such a difference maker for that team, but he's not 100% healthy. They would be utilizing him so much more if he was. So it is going to be very important for him to get healthy down the stretch. Washington escapes with a close win at home against Utah. 35-28 was the final score there. Washington stays unbeaten, man. Like, they look really good. Their defense is a little bit suspect, but their offense is just so high powered that they are able to even get one over against a really strong defensively minded team in Utah. But man, shout out to that dude from Washington that had that pick six and dropped it on like the 3-yard line. That was crazy as hell. I know you guys saw that. That was
that was nuts.
Pretty stupid. A couple other big games. Georgia got a nice win over Ole Miss. Ole Miss once again cannot show up in a big game. Georgia just absolutely continues to roll. 52 points on Ole Miss's head at home in Athens. Ohio State continues to roll, just beat the shit out of Michigan State like we thought they would, 38-3. And then Oregon caps off the nightcap with a 36-27 win at home. USC is hot garbage. They are on such a losing streak right now. Again, we are not betting on USC for the rest of the season. We are staying away from them. They're just such an ugly team to watch right now. That defense is putrid.
Yeah, no, what started as a crazy media hype season around USC and Colorado disappeared rather quickly. So, I mean, it's typical. Your blue bloods, they stay alive, they show up, they do the work. You know, these high star power teams, sometimes they fall apart. It is what it is. But as far as cards go for the weekend, I'll go through mine real quick so I can stop talking because my throat's killing me. Washington, Utah over 52.5. I knew this was a lock as soon as I saw the setup on the board. There is no defense on either team, so it just made complete sense to me that this over would hit, and it sure as hell did. Kansas State minus 20 against Baylor. We know Baylor is hot cheeks at college football. Not a surprise at all. Kansas State put up 59, covered it by I think 29, so they were chilling there. Bama minus 10.5. I mean, Holmes, you and I both had this. That was a lock. Bama is an absolute elite powerhouse. Like I said, if they falter early in the season like that, they are always going to end up in that talk for the college football playoffs. It is what they do, and it's what we've seen every single year. Michigan minus 5. Like I was telling Holmes earlier, it just basically, it was one way or another. Either Penn State was going to blow them out because Harbaugh is that big of a factor, or Michigan shows up and says, man, fuck all of you. We know what we are. We support Harbaugh, and we are going to shove it down your throat. And it just happened that it went my way. Michigan minus 5.
Yeah, dude.
I hit 50%. College football is actually not terrible for me. I wish it was a little bit better, but my losers: Kansas minus 3.5. Texas Tech just pulled off an upset. It was kind of rough to see, but it is what it is. Miami FSU over 15.5. It started off hot, it was promising, and then it just kind of faltered at the end. So just barely came up short there, but it is what it is. I think I lost it by 4 points. Kansas, that game over 58.5, nowhere close. I mean, there was no offense displayed at all during that game. And then Oklahoma State minus 1.5. I mean, that's a college football trap line. We know that now, and it'll never happen again. So
yeah, that's just tough on that one.
That was a tough one, but if you guys want to go through your cards now, go for it.
Yeah. All right. I'll run through it real quick. Another 5 and 7 week. Obviously not what we want out of our 12 plays here. The 2 last minute ones that we put on the Twitter, the Saturday, the morning of NC State money line and Cal money line. I was looking at both of those on that Friday night coming into the Saturday morning. I think both of those looked really good. I think the spot for both of those teams was perfect. So it was nice to get wins on both of those in short money line situations. Ohio State minus 16.5 first half. I mean, this was as light as it could get. Michigan State was not going to come to play against Ohio State, and Ohio State was going to be ready to beat the shit out of them in a rivalry game. So that was nice to get that at the half. They easily covered the full game as well. Missouri money line, we talked about that. Missouri, we thought that was the wrong team favored there. Missouri being plus money on the money line there was very, very, very worth it because I did not see them having Tennessee come into their home and give them a little something. So I was loving Missouri in that spot. Glad that they came out with the win. And then, like Mondo talked about, Alabama minus 10.5, all over that. They continue to roll. It's just, we're gonna keep betting on them until they actually, prove us wrong, until they give us a loss. But what we did lose, just a bunch of bad plays, I think, this weekend, man. I did not do a great job at trying to get good enough value because Georgia Tech plus 14.5. They lose by 21. I mean, I can't predict Clemson this season. I don't know what it is. Like every time I think they're going to show up, they don't. Every time I think they're not going to show up, they do. I don't know. I can't get them right this year, so I'm going to start staying away from those games. Lost that game by at least a touchdown. Boston College money line. This was tough because I really thought that was such a great spot for them to get a win. They've been rolling and they got the shit kicked out of them by Virginia Tech. At home too, like at home, Boston College got their shit kicked in. So that sucks to get a loss on the money line there. Mondo, already talked about it with you. Hats off to you for the Michigan bet. I was on the wrong side of that. Penn State plus 4.5. Penn State is poo-poo. They are a fraud. They cannot hang with the big boys. Enough said. We already talked about Oklahoma State. What a damn disappointment they were there. Oregon minus 14. They did not cover, unfortunately. They still got an outright win over USC, which is expected, but I really thought they were going to hit that 14 number. Just with how bad USC's defense was, I expected Bo Nix to honestly put up a lot more points than he did. Arkansas money line, holy shit, what a bad bet. That was like the Oklahoma State bet, like not even a chance. They got their shit kicked in by Auburn. Like, really? Arkansas, you come back home after a great win at Florida and poop like that? Very, very disappointing. And then Minnesota, Purdue under 47.5. I was really so confident in this coming into this game. Both of these teams not really up to the task to score a lot of points. And let me make sure I fucking get this total score right because they blew my shit out of the water. I was not even close to this under. Yeah, 49-30. So I was like 30 points off on this total, which really sucked. So what can you do? 5-7 this week. It's getting harder and harder, but we're going to try and come back, go at least 500 next week, have a little bit of a bounce back.
It happens, man. It happens. Gary, how was your card?
So I was actually thinking about what I was gonna say about this to make me not look like a dumbass, and I think I have it put together in my head. In my own personal opinion, you should not bet on games that you are not in the right headspace to bet on. So what I'm trying to say is I was not going to place all my bets on Saturday simply because I just knew I wasn't going to be watching any of them. And I was intoxicated on Friday and Saturday. And typically I wait until Friday night to place my bets so that way all the lines are just stuck there where they are. And I just wasn't there. So I did not cook up a card. That is my fault and my apologies. But in my personal opinion, I think that as it's part of our job as leaders of this podcast and influencing people to bet on our bets that, we should place our bets smartly. And I just wasn't in the right headspace to do so. So I did not place any bets this weekend.
So Holmes, when do lines come out typically?
For what? For college football?
Yeah.
I mean, college football lines for this week are already out. There might be some, honestly, for the next week too, because it's rivalry week. But typically they're out, almost on like that college football Saturday. So they're available all week leading up to game day. They just do shift so much. You just want to make sure you always get a good number because there's always, variance and different spreads and overs unders, but they're usually available for like the week before game day.
So a week. Not the night before, a week.
Well, I know they're available. It's about the shifting though. That's why I just wait till Friday.
Okay. And for your other part that you need to be a responsible bettor, I get that. And I understand that. You have to come with picks. it's a sports betting podcast. Like, we have to have picks. That's our job. Like, there's, I mean, what do you want me to tell you? I'm not gonna destroy you because I know you were a NOLA, but we do sports betting. We need picks. It's kind of the trade-off here. Even if you're a little intoxicated, sometimes those play off the best because you take bigger risks and sometimes you get bigger wins. But that was a good try with a good excuse right there. I appreciate that. But come on, man. You're killing me, Gare. You're fucking killing me, dog. But I love you, so that's okay. On the NFL recap. So this week was kind of abysmal. Let's just go ahead and hit on it. We'll start with Sunday's matchup. Colts Patriots. It was absolutely abysmal. If you watched it, I feel so sorry for you. Like Gary said, nobody should be watching this game. It was terrible. The biggest thing to talk about is definitely that final drive. I don't know what was going on. You pull your starter, you need a touchdown, then you run a fake spike with your backup, and he throws a pick. And now he's in the locker room biting his tongue. I don't know. There's a lot of things going on with the Patriots. They are completely collapsing as an organization. But I'll send it to you guys to kind of go through.
This was a shit game. I did not watch a single minute of this game. As I think said on Friday, I was not even going to touch this. Just looked horrible from the start. I mean, Patriots are in just disarray, man. They have had zero offense since Brady left. Like they refuse to get any weapons alongside Mac Jones. They refuse to do anything to make their offense non-boring and non-ass. So like, I mean, they're so unfun to watch. And like the Colts are just another like boring team for me. Like do a lot of stuff well. It's good. They don't do anything like really great. But I mean, if Anthony Richards is not the quarterback, there's really no incentive for me there.
Yeah, Gare?
Yeah, I didn't watch this game, so I don't really got much to say about it.
I mean, you wrapped it up perfectly. Belichick needs to go ASAP. He needs to retire.
True.
Texans at Bengals. Texans sneak this one out 30-27. This is an absolute barn burner, man. What a great game to watch. I know I had under 2.5 combined interceptions, and that looked pretty good up until the end of the third.
Yeah,
And then it just completely fell apart. So it was an absolute hell of a game. Just enjoyed it. CJ Stroud, this kid's legit. We know this already. Only 2 picks on the year, but Devin Motor Singletary, SoFlo guy himself, 150, 1 tutty. Man looked great, bro. Man looked great. Holmes, what's your takeaway?
Shoot, man, the Texans are a real deal, man. I can't believe they went into Cincinnati and got a great win over a team that has been incredibly hot. I mean, the Bengals, we all talked about it on Friday. I think we all picked the Bengals, did we not? I mean, they're hitting their stride. They've been looking great their past couple games. The offense is cooking. And CJ Stroud just comes in and absolutely dices up this defense too. I mean, this guy is the real deal, dude. He passed for what he had 356 yards and a touchdown. He had a pick in there, but like you said, there's only 2 picks he's thrown on the year. Dude is a rookie, and he's leading this god awful organization last year to a 5-4 record right now. They are actually going to be a very frisky team come like what, maybe 5-6 weeks from now when everybody's vying for playoffs down the stretch. I mean, they're going to be scary, dude. That's one team. Like if they sneak into the playoffs, I would not want to play them because CJ Stroud, you give him one game, this is what he can do to you. Just last minute, again, come back, kicks a field goal as time's expiring to win the game. I mean, how about that? Texans are good shit. That's all you can say.
Yeah. Gary?
Yeah, man. Texas sports are hot this year. I mean, Florida was last year, and now Texas is looking good. And I feel like it's always one of the two, which is kind of annoying that it's not us again. But you got the Rangers winning the World Series, and now you got the Texans making a run for it. And it's exciting to watch. But I don't know. I feel like both quarterbacks played their asses off, so it's not like you can really shit on either organization for any sort of reason. Because it did end with a field goal, which is annoying, but it is what it is. But good shit on the Texans.
Good duel there.
Yeah. Saints at Vikings. Vikings kind of waxed the Saints. Josh Dobbs, bro. This man is legit. They win 27-19. Dobbsy baby. 268, one tutty. Just absolutely carrying that Minnesota offense, finding TJ Hawkinson for 11, 134 and a tutty. Absolutely unreal game. I am full steam ahead with the Vikings. They got JJ coming back this week. I cannot wait for this shit. This is gonna be awesome.
Yes, sir.
So shout out to them. What an absolute savior of a season Josh Dobbs has been. Absolutely incredible. I'm loving it. I do wish that they kind of updated his graphics in the game or in the the like CBS or Fox graphics, how it's like cartoonified.
Yeah.
It doesn't look good with him. I think they need to do a little better. It doesn't look right.
Oh, it's funny.
But Gary, what's your thoughts on this game, sir?
I mean, I think it's interesting, bro. We got to see Jameis Winston back on the field for a little while. And he still fucking sucks, which I love to see because we hate FSU over here. So, anything that comes out of there, we just want to see plummet into the ground. But yeah, Josh Dobbs, bro, like he's cooking, he's fast, and I think that's kind of what the Vikings need. I feel like the Vikings have always kind of had a quarterback that's like, stay in the pocket, run, just be protected, and Dobbs likes to move around and run around and make these on the fly throws, and I think it makes them more fun to watch. And good on him for kind of flipping the script with playing at home for the Vikings. I feel like they kind of needed an at home win. And also thank God it wasn't played in New Orleans, because if it was, it would have made it 10 times worse getting out of that shithole on Sunday. So yeah, good shit.
Yeah. Holmes?
Yeah, dude, fuck yeah, dude. Go Vikings. This is one of my favorite plays of the weekend. Vikings should not have been plus money at home. Josh Dobbs coming into this game looking like an absolute superhero last game. Because you know what he did? Came into this game, looked like an absolute fucking superhero again. All right. He is the real deal. If like have the books not been watching him play in Arizona, the dude has talent. Arizona, there's nothing around you. I don't really know what you're supposed to do with a piss poor organization in Arizona. Like, good for Kyler Murray coming back and getting a really close win that we'll talk about later. But like Josh Dobbs, bro, he's been looking great this season. His passing looks the best it's ever been in his career. And granted, it hasn't really been that long or that great of a career, but his rushing is next level. This dude is finding holes, making plays, like actually being a very good mobile quarterback. It is so exciting to watch. And he has a plethora of weapons around him. He's got Jordan Addison, KJ Osborne, Madison until he goes out with concussion. Hawkinson had a great day at the tight end position. This is all without Justin Jefferson, bro. Like, imagine how good this team could be if they have JJ back. This was awesome. Getting the Vikings at plus 125. This was a great win for them. I knew this win was going to come. The Saints are not that team. I think they're also very fraudulent. I do not like what they are doing at all, but I might have to rescind that because Jameis Winston could be much different for the Saints right now moving forward. But good shit on the Vikings. That was a great win.
Yeah. No, it's just been awesome to watch them. Another team that's been sneaky fun to watch, the Steelers. They beat the Packers 23-19. This game had everything. It had big plays. It had fist fights. It had all the shit that you could like in an NFL game. I locked in Jordan Love with an INT. He threw two of those motherfuckers. Not really surprised. He's pretty ass. Did not hit the Aaron Jones anytime touchdown. I thought that they would go with him more than they really did. I feel like that low-key cost them the game because they just weren't running the ball. I don't know what was going on, but they refused to run it. Blitzes were being sent. It just wasn't a good look. But yeah, Steelers up to 6-3, 4-2 at home. They're an absolute wagon. When they're at the former Heinz Field. I don't know what it's called now, but I know it is Heinz, and I will always know it is Heinz.
Acrisure?
Huh?
Acrisure Stadium?
Oh, fuck that.
Mm.
That's brutal. Why would you do that?
Yeah, it was stupid because money is the answer to all of your
Money's
questions.
stupid.
Yeah.
Acrisure.
Gary, what's your takeaway?
I'm gonna keep it a buck. I didn't watch a second of this game. I was probably asleep on the bus trying to pass the 12 hours of time that felt like purgatory. But I did see like a couple Twitter things. And I was watching like a couple highlight clips and fucking TJ Watt. Like, I feel like people need to start talking about him more. Got his 88th sack this game, which is big numbers. And I think it actually puts him above JJ Watt now when it comes to sacks. So that's pretty interesting stat. Good for him. The Packers just suck, bro. Like, I feel like this is another one of those hit or miss teams, like where one week they'll just be like, "Oh, I remember how to play football," and then the next week they'll pull up and be like, "Where's the soccer ball?" So yeah, until they figure that out, I think they're fucked. But good on the Steelers.
Holmes?
Yeah, shit, not much for me, honestly. Like, I didn't really watch a lot of this game either, but the Steelers. I like what you say about the Packers. Like, they're just on and off. Like, I feel like that's the Steelers too. I do not know how they're 6-3. I don't get it at all. I feel like they've been playing so much worse than their record indicates. If that makes sense, like just Mike Tomlin's finding ways to pull wins out of hats. I feel
They're
like
scrappy, man. They're
it's
fucking scrappy.
yeah, it's really weird. Like Kenny Pickett's not lighting the world on fire. Nobody's really like breaking out in the receiving game for the Steelers. The rushing attack is like average. I guess it's starting to get going relative to what it was last year and probably at the beginning of this year. And like their defense is okay. I thought their defense was going to be better. They've kind of given up more points than I thought they were coming into the season. So I don't know. This is just a matchup of just two really weird teams for me. I didn't like anything in this game, but I mean, good on the Steelers for continuing to win. I don't know how they're doing it, but they keep winning. So good shit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's definitely an interesting season for both teams. I mean, you lose Aaron Rodgers for the Packers, and you think Jordan Love's the next coming of Christ, but he ain't. And then the Steelers, like you said, they're just scrappy as hell, and there's no real reason why they keep winning. But on to a team that is absolutely in shambles. The Tennessee Titans forgot how to run the ball with Derrick Henry. They lose to the Bucks 20-6, are now 0-5 on the road. Give me that Mike Ev anytime TD check. I'll let you guys just take this one. The Bucks fans of the show, get on it. Let's hear it.
Fuck yeah, dude. Go Bucks. Like this is much needed. We needed this win at home. Baker Mayfield over 240 passing yards in this game. That was nice and easy. Just great game from the Bucks. I mean, Titans coming in, they've been absolutely awful on the road this season. Buccaneers needed to get this win. Needed to get just right the ship at least. I think we were on a 4-game skid, 5-game skid, something like that. We were not looking good after a decently hot start to the season, so we really needed to get this. Mike Evans had a nice day. Rashad White had a nice day. Defense looked really good. Not much you can say other than a great damn win, and we gotta hope to keep the momentum rolling.
Yeah.
Kyle Trask touched the field this game.
Yeah.
And
You know what happened? He got hit for a 1-yard loss, and that was it. It fucking sucks, bro. Like, I don't know. I mean, I'm happy we won. The defense is playing great. Vita Vea is a fucking stud. And he's kind of carrying that defense on his back, which kind of makes me nervous. I'm glad the Titans had a bad day. Because we needed that, like Holmes was saying. But I'm still not sure about our team, bro. Like I feel like if we can get another win next week, who do we play? Okay, never mind. We're gonna have to wait another week for that win because we play the 49ers next weekend. So that sucks. But, see what happens with the rest of the season.
Perfect segue, bro. 49ers take down the Jags 34-3. Holmes, I know you and I looked at each other when we saw these lines drop. 49ers at -3. Are you kidding me? I almost put my entire bank account on that.
Yeah.
They could have dropped the points and still won by 31.
Mhm.
That's ridiculous, man.
Kind of crazy.
I will say McCaffrey did kind of fuck me. I took him with my anytime tutty.
Yo, they tried though. They
Finally
really
came
tried.
crashing down. It
They
was
really
long
tried. End of the
overdue.
game, they were up by so much, and they
I
tried to
know.
get him in the end zone. They tried.
It's all right. I'm not upset about it. It just means I know he'll get at least 2 next week, so I'm gonna double down on it. But yeah, I could not believe this was a line, and this is the exact reason why. I mean, you have all the weapons back for the Niners, and sure as shit, Brock Purdy's gonna perform with all those superstar caliber players. So 49ers still a wagon as long as they're healthy, but just an unreal line. Gary.
Yeah. T-Law did not look good in this game. And I was actually kind of surprised. Like I thought it was going to be a little bit closer. I didn't think they were going to win. But I thought, like I said, it would be closer. Um, but yeah, 2 picks on the day is tough. Tough looks for the man. But yeah, good. I mean, it's a good way for the Niners to snap that 3-game loss streak. So good for them.
Yep. Holmes.
Niners went in, dude. That was such a great game for them, getting Debo and Trent Williams back, and absolutely just having that whole offense start clicking once again. Um, it's kind of crazy how much they embarrassed the shit out of the Jaguars, because I think a lot of people, especially this week, like in the media and whatnot, were like, we got to start putting respect on the Jags name. Like before this game even started, like, Jags are looking like one of the best teams in the AFC, or they've been rolling, they've been getting a bunch of wins. And like, I was, as much as I wanted to agree with them, as great as they've looked, I've watched some Jaguar games, and they are honestly, I'm going to compare them to the Steelers right now. They do not play as well as their record indicates. And you would know that if you watch this team, because they look a lot sloppier than they do in just like the box scores when they're getting wins against all different types of teams. Like, they're bad in the red zone. They're turning the ball over. Like, they look very sloppy at times on offense. And that is not typical for how you thought at least this offense was going to come into the season. I mean, T-Law had the breakout year last year, and that was without Calvin Ridley. Do you add a number one receiver into this offense? I mean, shit, they should have been on the moon by now. They should have been wiping through teams, putting up 40 on everybody. I mean, ETN's having a great year, but like you said, Garrett, T-Law looks bad, man. He's not having the season he had last year, not even close. 49ers defense was just all over him all day, man. So great win for the 49ers, but that definitely knocked the Jaguars down a peg. And I hope everybody takes a little bit of a step back and starts to reevaluate, oh, the Jags are the new AFC juggernaut, because they're not.
Yeah. Not really a surprising score at all if you actually look into football, but if you're a casual and you just see the records, you could think this would have been a powerhouse matchup, but it was the furthest thing from it. Onto a matchup that I was kind of shocked. I know we discussed it a lot on last podcast. Browns at Ravens. Browns sneak it out 33-31. Holmes, you talked me out of the over. I listened. What happened, man?
I feel so bad that I did that, dude. Like, I had all the stats to back it up and everything. The Ravens, they've been the number one defense so far this year. The Browns ain't far behind. I mean, Myles Garrett has anchored that defense. They are terrorizing teams. Their secondary is great. They had an entire recipe for the under here, and we did not even get close. 38.5. Shoot, yeah, again, that
Pretty
number
sure
was not even close.
doubled the total.
If that is the only NFL bet that I lost of the weekend, so I'll eat that. Like, I'll take that. It is what it is. But I really did feel confident in that. I am not like backing down. If that game happened again tomorrow, I would take the under again. I really would. I don't give a fuck.
Understandable.
I would take the under again.
Gare?
Yeah. I mean, I always
Yeah.
put on the Browns' downfall for obvious reasons, but I mean, shit, my dad is lighting me up right now. I knew this was coming soon.
Talk to us. What's going on?
Nothing. This is not a conversation. Oh,
It's about all the money you dropped in NOLA.
yeah. It's okay. We'll figure it out. Um,
You
yeah,
want
but
me to just take over?
I ain't got nothing to say about this game.
All
There's
right.
nothing. There's nothing.
Falcons at Cardinals. Gary, we got a bird game. Hit it.
Ah!
Atta boy. Cardinals sneak this out 25-23. Kyler Murray comes back. He doesn't really light anything up, but he didn't look too bad after being out for a little while. I'm a little shocked he came back considering Call of Duty dropped on Thursday night,
For sure.
which is why Gary was late for today's podcast. But yeah, I know. I joined your lobby while we were live.
He's crazy. He's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I see you eyeing it over there. But yeah, Falcons, Cardinals. It wasn't really a great game. Kyle Pitts still not utilized at all. I don't know what Arthur Smith is fucking doing on that team, but Kyle Pitts could easily be the best tight end in the entirety of the NFL, and you're just not using him. I don't understand why you're doing this. Trade him to a team with an air raid offense, please, because this is fucking miserable to watch as a Gator fan.
Really
You have a
is.
generational talent going to waste in an offense that's set up for blocking tight ends only. I can't deal with it. It's driving me fucking crazy. But Trey McBride, he had another good game, so that was pretty cool. Holmes, what are you thinking?
This is a great win for Kyler Murray. I mean, coming back from the ACL, I really did not expect him to rush as much as he did, and he looked great, man. He looked like he's been healthy. I mean, I did not expect that much movement out of him, that much agility coming out of him from a guy that literally just tore his ACL last year, nearing the end of the football season. So that's impressive for him to come back and get a good win. Granted, it's not against the greatest team in the world, the Falcons, and obviously how horrible they are on the road. But good for the Cardinals. Good for Kyler Murray. There's so much speculation about whether they're going to draft a quarterback, whether he's going to be the guy, the franchise moving forwards. So, good for him to at least shut everybody up for 1 week, and we'll see how he looks moving forward into the rest of the season. Maybe keeps Arizona out of a top 5 pick.
Yeah. Gare? Gare's in trouble. We'll keep going.
Yeah.
Lions at Chargers, a game we all knew was going to be an absolute electric factory. We didn't know it was going to be quite like this, but we knew it would be high scoring. Lions come in, do their thing, win 41-38 on the road. No matter what way you look at this game, everyone performed well unless you're on defense.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was kind of the real takeaway here. It was just an absolute battle of offense. It looked awesome. It was so much fun to watch. From a fantasy perspective, I think everyone loved it, but it was just absolutely insane. No really other takeaways. Lions are an absolute Super Bowl contender this year. Holmes?
Yeah, cashed up Lions -2.5. That was a great key number to make sure you got for this game. Because you saw it landed on 3. You didn't want to push. You wanted to make sure you got a win on this game. And that's what we did. It was really hype. I mean, this is exactly what I expected out of this game. I knew it was going to be high scoring. I really should have bet money on the over, and I really just spaced out the morning of and didn't place it. But this is exactly how I thought the game script was going to go, back and forth, both very offensively minded teams. And it came down to the Lions, just last possession, driving it down the field, getting that field goal for the win. Get that 3-point win. I mean, the Lions, they lose that game in prior years. They're not good enough to be able to keep up with the Chargers in a game like that in recent years. You just got to give Dan Campbell and the boys credit, because they're turning that thing around, and they definitely could be Super Bowl contenders. They've looked very, very strong in the NFC. They could easily give the 49ers and the Eagles a run for their money right now with the way that they've been playing.
Gare? No Gare. Gare's still
No
in
Gare.
trouble.
Tough.
All right. Giants at Cowboys. Cowboys came in, did their thing, embarrassed the Giants. No one was really shocked by the game here. Dak Prescott balled. CD Lamb did his thing. Brandon Cooks lit up the field. 173 yards, 1 tutty. I mean, just an absolute electric factory out of him. I took the Giants first half under 12.5 this game. Guess what, guys? The Giants have not hit a first half over the entire year.
Keep riding the wagon.
Not one.
Keep
Keep
riding.
riding it, man. It takes them at least a half to get warmed up. I'm telling you, bro, this is the secret. This is the secret sauce of the whole Giants betting scheme. But yeah, I mean the Cowboys look good. Nothing much else to take away from that. But Holmes, what you got?
Dude, I mean, again, this game went exactly how I thought it was going to go to. I was all over the Cowboys in this one. The over team total of 27.5 was very easy. The spread of minus 16.5 was also very easy. So that was a quick 2-0 in this game. Was not even worried about this. I mean, Dak Prescott had an absolute day. Just shredded the Giants like I thought they were. The Giants have no quarterback right now. The Giants are just a pitiful team on both sides of the ball. They cannot do anything to keep up with anybody. So we're going to continue to fade the Giants. And that is a fantastic nugget you got right there. Under first half totals all year long. I mean, dude, we're riding that until the wheels fall off. And even when the wheels do fall off, we're going to hop back on and bet it again next week.
Damn right. Gary.
Yeah, I feel like there was really no, we're okay now. Not really, but we're in the safe zone. Um, yeah, I mean this game went exactly how everybody thought it was gonna go. One thing though that's kind of like a takeaway for me is Dallas is on fire at home, bro. Like they have not lost at home in a while. Um, and good for them, bro. But Dallas have an easy couple weeks too. They're playing the Panthers next week, and then they got the Commanders, which I don't really see either team putting up a fight. So I can definitely see Dallas taking this season a long way. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Commanders at Seahawks. This is one of those games that I wasn't really interested in, but it ended up coming down to the wire. Seahawks sneak it out. Game-winning field goal, 29-26. Geno Smith looked back to form, 369, 2 tutties. He was dicing up the field. Absolutely marched down on that final drive. That was incredible to watch. But Seahawks looking good. I think that they're kind of in a similar boat as the Jaguars. Not as good as their record shows, but they're beating the bad teams. But yeah, I mean, Kenneth Walker, if you have him in fantasy, you did good. It's the right move. Holmes, take it away.
Yeah, I'm not much really on this game. It was intriguing, I think, to watch like the end of it. Obviously, Sam Howell dueling it out with the Seahawks defense. That's really the only thing I got to say about this game. Is Sam Howell looks good, dude. I mean, for a guy that wasn't really touted highly as like the next big thing to come through the NFL, he's looked really good for the Commanders so far this year. He's passing the hell out of the ball. He's slinging the pill, as the kids say. And he looks really good. He was so close to being able to get one here for Washington. But yeah, that's all I gotta say, man. Sam Howell, continue to play your ass off because that young man is competing for a starting job, and he looks really great so far.
Gare.
Yeah, I didn't really watch this game to keep it a buck. I know Sang was very upset in the back of the bus when the Commanders lost, which was kind of funny to watch because everybody's just hung over and he's screaming. Everybody was giving him the death stare, so that was pretty funny. But bro, the bird teams are cooking something, except for the Cardinals. So see what happens.
Hit it for me, Gare.
I can't right now.
All right.
I got gutted.
Final game, Sunday Night Football. Absolute shitter matchup. Jets fall to the Raiders 16-12. Took Raiders money line. Better than doing a pick 'em for the spread. Clearly it paid off, but you know, it just wasn't fun to watch. I put it on towards the end. Just an absolute terrible, terrible game. So I'll let you guys take it from here, but I really don't have a comment.
No, hell no. I don't have shit to say. This was an awful game. Fucking field goals galore. I watched the fourth quarter, and that was the most exciting quarter because the Raiders actually scored a touchdown, and Michael Mayer had a moss of a grab in the end zone. Well done on the rookie tight end for the Raiders. But other than that, his game was hot ass.
Gare?
Yeah. I have the Raiders kicker, so 21 points on my fantasy team was pretty awesome. But yeah, that's really about it.
All right. Tonight, Broncos, Bills. Where we sitting, boys? Bills -8. Over under 47.5. The only bet I have tonight is Stephon Diggs anytime tutty. So anything for you guys?
I really was looking to see if you guys had any picks on this game tonight. I am leaning Broncos plus 7.5. I think the Broncos have been playing a little bit better football as of lately, and the Bills have kind of been on the other side of that coin. They have kind of looked discombobulated. Everybody is injured, especially on their defensive side. They are down a ton of starters. That leads me to believe the Broncos can hopefully cover within a touchdown here. So I'm leaning that way. I don't know if I'm going to make that official yet. The only official play I'm going to play tonight is Russell Wilson over 21.5 rushing yards. Russ is actually starting to use his legs a little bit more when he gets flushed out of the pocket. I think Von Miller is going to have a little bit better of a game tonight playing against his former team in the Denver Broncos. So I think he'll create some pressure, make Russell Wilson move around the pocket a little bit. I like this over of 21.5 rush yards for him. You can get it at -114 on Hard Rock right now, but I was going to look to see what you guys had for tonight because I need some other plays for this for sure. I feel like there's value out there, but I'm not really sure where to look right now.
Yeah, I was kind of struggling with that too. That's why I kind of stayed away from it. My only tidbit of info for you, the Bills are 4-1 at home. So when they're in Buffalo, they look good. Buffalo -8. See, the problem with that is the Chiefs fell to the Broncos, which is just sitting in the back of my head, which is why I'm not doing any bets with this, and it's driving me crazy because I want to pull the trigger on it, but
Yeah.
it is what it is. Gary, you got any plays?
I got a Garrett gut feeling play, and that is Broncos money line. Believe it or not, I don't know why, but I just feel it, and I feel like this is gonna be the dagger
You sure
that
you're not
finally.
hungover?
Oh, I am as fuck, but I definitely think that Denver is just gonna lodge the dagger into the Bills' throat. And I think it's time, bro. It's time for the Bills to face the fucking reality of their team, and that is that they are mid. And I think tonight will be the night that they are proven that they are mid. And I'm also going to take under 47.5. And I'm also going to take a Josh Allen interception. Now, watch as I say all this, the Bills absolutely just have a game. But you know what? Fuck it, let's do it. Denver plus 325 money line, under 47.5 for the game, and a Josh Allen interception.
Wow.
I'm kind of shook
Wow.
right now. I don't know. Gary, if that pulls out, credit to you, man. I'll tell your gut feelings, but
That's crazy.
damn.
All right. All right, dude. All
That's
right.
crazy.
That is crazy. All
Um,
right.
but yeah, we got a matchup tonight. I don't know how it's gonna go. Can't really predict it at all. These two teams are absolute wild cards. But yeah, we'll let you know on Wednesday. And we'll also be doing 3 punishment wheel spins. We got, well, technically 2. Gary has to do his first cinnamon punishment. Holmes has a punishment wheel. And then Gary has a punishment wheel for this weekend. So we got 3 punishments to deliver between Wednesday and Friday. And
Boom.
we will deliver them. So get ready. Gary, go buy some cinnamon. We're getting after it. So but with that, we will see you guys on the next episode.
Motherfucker,
Actually
wait.
has plays right now, so we're gonna do this.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Holmes. I got sick brain. Go ahead.
That's okay, bro. We need to give the NBA plays and the NHL plays out to the people and to you guys if you want to tail. Let's check the records real quick. We're 10-9 in the NHL. Over 50% feels good. We're 9-7 in the NBA right now. Over 50% feeling good. We're going to try and keep it hot tonight. 3 plays in the NBA. We're going to take the Cavs money line tonight. Let me make sure I get this shit right because I don't want to mess any of this shit up. We're going to take the Cavs money line tonight against the Kings. This is a late game at o'clock. We are taking this because De'Aaron Fox was ruled out today. The Kings offense has literally been piss poor without De'Aaron Fox. They look awful. We think there's value here on the Cavs. I say you take it tonight. It's -110. It's a pick 'em right now. The Cavs finally have Jarrett Allen back and healthy. Everybody's going for the Cavs tonight, so I like the Cavs to be able to win on the money line tonight. We're also going to take 2 props, 2 Raptors, because they're playing the Wizards. If you know anything about the Washington Wizards, they are ass, probably the worst NBA team in the league right now. We're going to take Pascal Siakam over 21.5 points. He is getting a ton of shooting volume literally every game because he's one of the only guys on this team that can do anything offensively. So we're going to take him over 21.5 points. He gets a ton of shooting volume. The Wizards do not play defense. We think he can definitely be able to hit this prop tonight. -115 on Hard Rock. And then we're going to take a little plus money bet. +145. Scotty Barnes, also on the Raptors, for a double-double tonight. I think he's hit this 3 times in his past 5 games. Again, playing the Wizards tonight, they're just such a bad team. I really like Scotty Barnes to be able to have a great game tonight. He did not look good against the Celtics last game. They're a really good team. I think this is a great bounce back performance for him. Puts up at least double-digit points and hopefully double-digit rebounds too. Maybe assists, but we just need a double-double. So those are the 3 NBA plays. And then we got 1 NHL parlay. We're going to take the Oilers +1.5 and put it with the Avs money line tonight. Avs play the Kraken. We're just taking the Avs straight up on the money line because we think that they're the better team tonight against the Kraken. And the Oilers +1.5. I want to take them on the money line, but I am way too sketched out that they might lose by a goal. But they just fired their head coach and assistant head coach. They have had an abysmal start to the season. I think they're 3-7 right now. God awful team. We've just seen this with the Raiders. You fire your head coach and all of a sudden everybody loves it. The locker room is feeling good. Here's a little piece of information. The new head coach for the Oilers used to be Connor McDavid's junior's coach. He has history with Connor McDavid, and Connor McDavid really likes this guy. So we're going to take the Oilers +1.5 tonight. We're going to see if this coaching change works. And if it does, we're going to be on the Oilers a lot this season. So bang, Oilers +1.5, Avs money line. Let's go.
Attaboy. All right. With that, we will see you guys on the next episode. Please like, subscribe, share with everyone you know. It really does help us grow. We will see you on Wednesday where we spin the punishment wheel and Gary does a cinnamon challenge.
Let's go.
Peace.
Peace.